Foster carers were my first teachers. In my 20s and new to social work, one of the first children that I helped bring into foster care was a girl that we'll call Sarah. She was 3. Her parents used drugs and drink to cope with the trauma that they had experienced, but it meant they didn't get up in the morning to feed their daughter, clean the dog poop off the floor, or keep their little girl from finding their needles. Sarah also had bites and sores on her head from fleas and nits, and while most of her clothes were not able to be saved, she did have her teddy. We went to Jenny's, a foster carer who had over 25 years' experience. I knocked on the front door, and she came to the gate in the back garden. She opened the gate, and then she crouched down by Sarah, and she said, "My name is Jen, and I know how to look after children really well. So well, it's all I do. And when someone is hurt or scared or sad, they come to me. I've got some bubbles set up in the garden and some juice, and Kim can stay while we get to know each other a little better." She knew Sarah was going to feel less scared in her garden than in the house. When Sarah was feeling a bit more relaxed, we went inside, and I think that's when it hit Sarah that she was staying, and she began to cry. And Jen said, "I bet you're a bit sad and you miss your mom and dad. Let's draw them a picture that we can take with us tomorrow when we see them." We also knew that Teddy was the only comfort that she had, and even though it probably had fleas, putting it in the wash was going to be a distress that this girl just didn't need. Jen said, "You know, I was thinking of making some cookies. I can see you have a Teddy. What's his name?" "Well, that's a great name. I wonder if he might like some cookies as well." "You know what's the best with cookies? A warm blanket and some slippers. Let's make a blanket for him and some slippers, and he can see if the oven is warm enough for the cookies." She brought out the foil, and she made a blanket, and Sarah made the slippers for Teddy. And they put him in the oven, while Sarah also got a blanket and slippers, and she sat on my lap, watching her Teddy in the oven. Killing those fleas on him was what the main objective was, so that she could have her stuffy for the night. While Sarah snacked on cookies, Jen could run a knit comb through her hair. And as she did, Jen talked to Sarah a bit more about what had happened and what was going to come next. Why do I say all of this? Because while I didn't know it at the time, what I was watching was someone who knew that talking through the trauma while it was happening was so important. Because what was going on for Sarah was already going to be a story in that child's mind that she would replay for years. And if we don't, in those high stress moments, help narrate some understanding, it will always be traumatic. It will likely always be scary because we took her away from the people that she had bonded to and relied on for life. But I sincerely hope that having a carer who was right by her side, responding to her needs and explaining what was happening, helped her to imprint as not completely filled with terror, but also that it had moments of tenderness.